Good afternoon, Chairman Terry and school board members. I am Dr. Joseph Doyle, a Naples resident, taxpayer, and community member. As you've heard my credentials several times in the past, in addition to my medical degree, I also have an MBA and several other degrees. I find it quite reprehensible that there are some people in this audience who feel that unless you've been an educator that you're not qualified to review these books. Those of us who are not in academia still use the principles of the degrees that we learned in practical application. And as the retired chairman of a major medical department for a major insurer, I use the principles of economics all the time. So I felt quite qualified to review the Understanding Economics 2018 textbook that Mr. James Kelly is going to be presenting later on. And I also reviewed several of the others. As an American citizen, especially the history books, I feel very well qualified and had very good training through the years when I took my history courses. I agree with the parental objections to these instructional materials, and they should not be adopted tonight. In fact, I insist that we really stop this hearing today and pause the entire process for the following reasons. And I want to go into the process, but I guess I can't because Mr. Fishbane probably won't let me. So I'll talk a little bit more about this book. This is the Understanding Economics 2018 history economics book that Mr. Kelly will be talking about in great detail. And I don't have an overhead projector here and such, but as you can see, it's very busy. And it does have a bent toward the ideological left of communism and socialism. The prior person who was up here obviously may not have had access to this, but it has a lot of things in here that the social justice warriors are trying to indoctrinate our children to. Okay? All right? Should the government make major changes in federal spending to deal with
Dr. Doyle, I think the gentleman has requested, I do understand it. Mr. Terry did ask that there be no comments, mockery, or whatever of any speaker, and therefore I...
Mr. Kelly, what's your point of order?
My point of order is that during this process we asked him not to speak flawed or laugh when you hear something that you don't like or you find funny. However, given that Mr. Doyle is now saying something that the majority doesn't like and thinks is funny, they've shown themselves to be free to laugh. I have to say this. Let me just say that...
And that was the point I was trying to make, Mr. Kelly, in support of your position, if the board chair wishes to emphasize it. But he was quite clear, and I think you do have a legitimate point. Everybody, if they don't like something, that's fine. But to make any sort of sounds or whatever that would denigrate the statements of a speaker is not appropriate.
Let me just reiterate, and you're going to get your time, Mr. Doyle, or Dr. Doyle. People in the audience, please show respect to all the speakers, no matter what they say or what they do. And that's a clear point. I was going to say something about the giggling going on, and then the gentleman jumped up and kind of took over the floor. But let's not make any response. If you want to respond, hold your hand up if you approve. And let's move on with this. Dr. Doyle, go ahead, please.
Thank you. This book has hundreds of errors, and a similar group a couple years ago, Truth in Texas Textbooks, which is a grassroots organization, went to the publishers and had 60% of the errors changed. And I don't think it's an effort that we as individuals can take. We need to come from the school district to talk to the publishers about making these changes to these books and correcting them for their next printing, and then we might consider purchasing them after the next printing. But in their current format, these books are not acceptable for the children of Collier County, and they should not be purchased, especially this Understanding Economics 2018 and the others that we haven't discussed yet. Thank you.